Integrity appears at or near the top of every list of desirable leadership traits. In fact, a survey by Robert Half Management Resources found that integrity ranked as the most important characteristic for both frontline employees and C-suite leaders. So why is it difficult, and what does it take to lead with integrity? We'll answer that question and more in this episode of Results Rule. Hi everyone, I'm Randy Pennington. Thanks for joining me. Please remember, hit the subscribe button and ring that little bell to never miss new content just as soon as it's posted. You would think a behavior and characteristic like integrity that's so widely accepted as important could be universally defined. So go ahead, take a stab at it. Integrity is, it's not as easy as you thought, is it? And that's the challenge. We all have a general understanding, but one person's integrity is another person's being a sellout. You can't lead or live with integrity or expect others to do so if you can't clearly define it. For many people, integrity is synonymous with ethics. That's a critical piece of it, but there's more to it than that. A computer program has integrity when it does what it's designed to do without errors. A building has integrity when its construction meets all the required standards. Legendary singer and songwriter Willie Nelson was asked if his life philosophy had changed at the age of 75. And Willie responded, "No, when I go back and listen to those early songs I've written and listen to the ones I've written yesterday, I still have basically the same beliefs that everything is good." Well, that's integrity too. Webster's New World Dictionary defines integrity as the quality or state of being complete. Wholeness, the quality or state of being unimpaired, and being of sound moral principle. Still a little unclear? Well, let's break down Webster's definition in practical terms and apply it to leadership. Think of them as the 7 C's of integrity-driven leadership. 1, clarity. Individuals who act with integrity are clear on their values, beliefs, and priorities. And like a fine gemstone, light shined on this person isn't scattered or diffused by impurities and inconsistency. Clarity of purpose and principles are evident in every action, decision, and communication. 2, constancy. Faithfulness, fidelity, stability, steadfast, and unwavering. These are the words that define the person who possesses constancy. She is unwavering in her dedication. He's steadfast in his belief. They're faithful to the commitments and promises that they make. There's a fine line between constancy and rigidity. Constancy, and by connection, integrity, don't shackle you to a set of beliefs forever. It does require thoughtful examination to determine the truth. 3, consistency. This is closely tied to constancy. Consistency transforms belief into action. The constancy of our beliefs is demonstrated through the consistency of our actions. Consistency promotes trust and provides a sense of stability for others. 4, congruency. Congruency in geometry means that two objects are roughly the same in shape and size. Now, applied to people, it means there's consistency between what we feel on the inside and what we do on the outside. Congruency takes the concept of consistency to a much deeper level. You can be consistent without being congruent, but you can't be congruent without being consistent. 5, commitment. Commitment requires 2 things, a promise and an involvement. The person of integrity commits or pledges to act in a specific manner, and that promise obligates involvement. As the pig said to the chicken at the suggestion that they treat their caretaker farmer to a breakfast of ham and eggs, this requires your participation. I, on the other hand, am making a commitment. 6, courage. Courage is the willingness to face or deal with anything that's dangerous, difficult, or painful, rather than avoiding it by making another choice. From a physical sense, it's an example of the fight or flight decision. the implication holds true from a moral perspective too. The leader of integrity faces and makes the difficult choice even when the outcome could be painful or unpopular. 7. Concern. Concern, when used as a verb, means to show interest or regard for a person or thing. Its opposite is indifference. The concern we speak of here is what Webster defined as sound moral principle. It's the ethical part of the definition of integrity. Integrity-driven leaders are concerned with understanding and doing what's right. Concern also requires considering others' interests rather than a sole devotion to your own. It took almost 420 words to explain the definition of a word we all believe that we know and understand. And that's why it's so difficult to agree on what integrity in leadership really means. You might believe that integrity is about your character. I might see it as consistency or courage. And we both would be right. So here's my definition of integrity: completeness, honesty, and transparency in thought, communication, and action. Leading and living with integrity means being accountable and responsible to yourself. It also means considering the implications of your actions and decisions on others, both ethically, morally, and then physically. It takes being clear, constant, and consistent in the beliefs and values for which you stand. Integrity means that there's a congruency between your internal beliefs and external actions. And it means that you have the courage to do what's right, even when it's not convenient or when no one else is looking. There is no 5, 7, or 12-step program for leading with integrity. It's an ongoing quest. Here are, however, 3 main areas on which you should focus today. First, tell yourself the truth. 3D vision, denial, distortion, and delusion, can blind us to the reality of how we're viewed by others. We deny the truth, we distort reality, and delude ourselves into thinking we're better than we are. And the cure is simple: the continuous search for and acknowledgement of truth and reality. Talk openly and often about the importance of trust to remaining nimble and relevant in your marketplace. Most important, be honest about areas where you aren't acting with complete integrity in your organization's products, services, and relationships. Remember, truth is the victim when we value the illusion of success. Integrity-driven leaders focus on what's real. Second, make better choices. Many years ago, Dr. Harry Emerson Fosdick created a 6-point test for deciding right from wrong, and it was later adapted by Dr. Preston Bradley. Well, here's an updated version of those questions for today's environment. 1. Does your course of action seem logical, responsible, and legal? 2. Would the results be beneficial for all if everyone made the same decision? 3. Where will your plan of action lead? What are the potential unintended consequences? How will it affect others? 4. Will you think well of yourself when you look back at what you've done, even if the results aren't optimum? 5. How would the person you most admire handle a situation? What would your hero do? And 6. What would your friends and family and those you admire think about your decision? How would you feel when it shows up on the front page of the newspaper or in your social media feed? And the final big area is to value relationships. All great leaders create focus with clear goals and high expectations. They expect results and they ensure effective execution of well-designed strategies. Integrity-driven leaders simply approach their leadership responsibilities from a different perspective. Their power comes from trust rather than fear. We talked about the power of trust extensively in part 1 of the video on becoming a more effective leader. You can check out the video link in the description below. Well, that's it for this episode. You lead in a world where trust, confidence, and credibility are unfortunately in short supply. Leadership is the ability to influence the actions and outcomes of others in a way that delivers positive results. Integrity is the crucial and often ignored element for sustaining a nimble organization that can flourish in any environment. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you'll never miss an episode of the Results Rules Show. And as always, share this with your friends, give us a like, and comment with your ideas and questions. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, the heroes in every marketplace are known by their results and the integrity they use to achieve them. I'll see you next time.